We have a wonderful podcast, The Journey into the Minds of Strange People Doing Stranger Things, Season 5. Your weekly dose of weirdness, putting our finger on the pulse of society, the psyche of society, and we're trying to understand people, their behavior, what motivates them to do what they do. And this week, spoiler alert, it's a tough one to figure out because people are fucking wild and crazy, and nothing can prepare you for the fact that if you like media, which you do, we all do, books, stories, that's about it. I don't think anyone can spoil a song for you. Like, by the way, in this one, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne talks about a train and it gets pretty crazy. But, you know, media and stuff, you read it, you consume it, you watch it, you like it. You want to find out how it ends yourself. Like this scientist who was in Antarctica and he fully fucking stabbed his coworker because he spoiled the end of his book. And it's like fair call. You know what I mean? I'm in Antarctica. I don't think there's like a lot of fucking media there for me to be consuming. I probably brought a couple books with me. You're going to spoil the only form of entertainment that I've got in this snow-filled hellscape? Dick. Stab. Stab, and we're on board with the stabber. A Russian scientist working in Antarctica is facing attempted murder charges. I on-sided him before I remembered to read it. So I'm not going to walk it back because fuck that guy. Anyway, Russian scientist working in Antarctica, he's facing attempted murder charges after allegedly stabbing a colleague for telling him the ending of books he wanted to read. Fuck, that's wild. Hey, hit me with a list of books that you fucking got on your to-read list. Oh, Harry Potter #1. The guy is the gem on the back of the head, and Harry's a wizard. Next, let's ruin some more shit. Sergei Savitsky, an engineer, is accused of stabbing welder Oleg Belugazov in the chest, the Sun reports. Belugazov was evacuated to Chile for a medical treatment, and his life is reportedly not in danger. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know how you can say allegedly stabbed him when he stabbed him. He stabbed him, and according to this article, like, hey, allegedly, I have a fucking gaping wound in my chest and a knife still in it. With the fingerprints of Sergei on that knife, with a little label carved into the handle, property of Sergei Savitsky. Pretty sure it's his. Pretty sure he did. Well, I mean, just because he owned it didn't mean that he was the one doing the stabbing. But I mean, if you've got the motivation, hey, he stabbed this guy because he ruined Sergei's fucking books for him. You're like, allegedly this stabbing happened and allegedly Sergei did it. You've got the weapon, you've got the motivation, all wrapped up. Sounds pretty cut and dry to me. Is it really attempted murder if old Bulugovs is still perfectly okay though? You know, he got flown to Chile for medical treatment and said, they're like, yeah, he's not in any danger. He's not like life-threatening injuries. Quite frankly, he shouldn't have ruined his fucking books, is what the doctors said, allegedly. The stabbing took place at Bellinghausen Station, a Russian research station in the South Shetland Islands in Antarctica. Savitsky, the alleged attacker, was taken to St. Petersburg and arrested. The alleged attack was said to be the result of an argument between the two over Belugazov's habit of spoiling the ending of books that he'd read from the remote outpost library. This guy, this fucking piece of shit, this dude has a fucking habit of spoiling the endings of books. Yeah, that's what Oleg Belugazov does. Everyone knows him. Hey, Belugazov is known about town. He gets into the library when the new fucking shipment comes in. He flicks through them. Some say he just flips to the back 10 pages. He's the man about town for spoiling all the books in the fucking remote outpost library. There should be a murder on the Orient Express style situation where every single person from the research facility got a stab in on him right before he fucking died. Oh, we don't know who did it. We don't know who did it because 32 people stabbed him. Although he faces criminal charges in the Russian city, Savitsky will probably have access to plenty of books that Belugazov hasn't already read. What are you, mate? You having a dig at him? Hey, he's a victim here, okay? He's been hit by the midnight book spoiler. The Russian news agency Interfax reported that Savitsky surrendered on his own and without resistance to the station manager. Alexander Kolepikov, the deputy director of the Arctic and Antarctic Research Institute, said of Savitsky and Belugazov, They're both professional scientists who have been working in our expeditions, spending year-long seasons at the station. It's down to investigators to figure out who sparked the conflict, but both men are members of our team. What the fuck? Why'd you interview this guy? Absolutely nothing gained from him whatsoever. He just told you nothing. Hey, I don't want to say like if Bulgazov didn't fucking deserve it. I don't want to say that Savitsky didn't do what we've all been fantasizing about doing to this cunt for months. All right. But what I will say is, yes, they both work here. Thank you. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you so much for clearing that up. I'm so glad Interfax got the fucking sit down with Alexander Kolepikov to get the real scoop on the inside scoop on this situation. Yeah, they work here. Yeah, they're both scientists and they both work here in the building. Yeah. Running tally. Sergey won on this one. The spoiled 1. The spoiler 0. Bulgazov, you get into the fucking remote outpost library. Read away on those books just so you can run about town and sprinkle spoilers over everyone's fucking day and ruin their time. Had it coming. That's, hey, victim blaming. I'm victim blaming in 2024 and this guy deserved it. That's all I'm going to say. A Sydney police officer who pointed his gun towards a colleague after warning him not to reveal spoilers about the movie Top Gun Maverick has been handed a 2-year good behavior bond and a conviction. It's like not even, what could you have spoiled from that? Hey, spoilers. Fucking Timmy Cruise comes back in this one and he pilots the plane real good. Spoilers on that one. I'll tell you this, right at the end when they're doing the special little fly through the mountain stuff, he fucking makes it. Spoilers, dude. Sorry, he makes it. And then people from the first one come back. Spoilers on that. Spoilers, dude. Deal with it. I'm going to shoot you dead. Don't spoil Top Gun Maverick for me. What could the spoiler have even been? Constable Dominic Francis Gaynor, who was working behind the counter at Day Street Police Station in the CBD in May. According to the court documents, the complainant, 26-year-old probationary constable Morgan Royston, saw the Tom Cruise blockbuster the previous night and told Gaynor, "I'll spoil it for you." Why? What sick little pleasure is this fucking weirdo getting out of these people just running around saying, hey, you know this thing that you wanted to see or read? I seen it and readed it. Here's what happened. Fuck you, dude. That's when he pulls the gun. Hey, don't. Hey, don't. The agreed facts state Gaynor, 30, then laughed as a different colleague left the room and said, "Don't spoil the movie, cunt." Gaynor is also quoted as saying, "I'll shoot you." The agreed facts say Gaynor then took his Glock out of his holster. Quote, he pointed his firearm at the vicinity of the complainant and held it stationary for 5 seconds, the document says. So let's run down what happened. I saw you want to see Top Gun Maverick, yeah? Oh, fuck. Yeah, dude, I've been working like nights, so me and the missus can't go see it yet. So, but super keen to see it. Loved the first one. Can't wait to get back in the saddle with my good mate Tommy fucking Cruise. Oh, sick. I saw it last night. And I'll spoil it for you. And then so that guy then goes, silly goose. He's silly goose. As someone else left the room, and then it sounds like he switched and said, pulls out his gun, "Don't spoil it, cunt, or I'll shoot you." So flipped real quick. This guy probably got some fucking Top Gun posters on the walls, I'd say. Safe bet. 1 to 2, he's got a home theater, which like isn't, you know what I mean? Like it's an expensive soundbar. And then he's got 2, just pasted wall to wall of Tommy Cruise. Can't move for Tommy Cruise on the walls. 2 Top Gun posters, one of the old movie, one of the new one. Hasn't seen it yet, but he did go online and got the poster, and a little Lego jet that sits on a shelf above his television. So he pointed his firearm at the vicinity of the complainant and held it stationary for 5 seconds. Okay. Quote, the offender's finger was on the receiver and not the trigger. The offender was laughing throughout this incident. Gaynor pleaded guilty to carrying a firearm with disregard for the complainant's safety. I would say that the complainant sort of wielded spoilers without Gaynor's safety. He was just sort of wielding spoilers and, whipping those around. Again, I'm not like victim blaming here, but I'm just saying, not everyone is an innocent party. Okay? He did say, don't spoil the movie, cunt, and did say, I'll shoot you. Now, we don't know how long between those things were said before the gun came out and pointed at his fucking face for 5 whole seconds. Oh God, this is how I go, isn't it? I should have never done spoilers. I swear I'll never do spoilers again. And that's how he learned. And he never did spoil movies again. I'll tell you what, that other cunt that got stabbed in the chest, do you think he still spoils books? He fucking better not. He fucking better not. On Thursday, Mr. Royston, who has since left the force, became emotional in Downing Centre local court, and he described falling into a depression following the incident. Ugh. Okay. I don't know how I feel about it just yet, but bear with me. Okay, don't judge me, all right? No spoilers. I don't know how I feel about this yet. He recalled wanting to become a police officer and being aware of serious dangers and many challenges the job could entail. Mr. Royston said it was common for juniors to share jokes and tease each other, but he'd never forget the overwhelming shock and fear he felt. Yeah, as a colleague held a gun to your fucking face or wherever, pointed a gun at him for 5 seconds while he was laughing, terrifying. The court heard he previously regarded the station as a home base away from danger, and that was replaced with anxiety and hypervigilance. I've completely lost the trust I had and my admiration for the New South Wales police force, he said, reading from a victim impact statement. When I see a police officer now, I feel compelled to watch them and check their hands is not on the firearm. Gaynor's counsel, Chris McKaylee, said his client made an awful mistake and acknowledged the misuse of the weapon could have had serious consequences. Yeah, dude, a little bit. You pulled a gun on a colleague, you're a cop, and you pulled a gun on a colleague over at the ending of a movie that's about fighter jets that couldn't really even be spoiled for you. Oh my God, dude. They fucking better not play volleyball in this one. Hey, Gaynor? Yeah, spoilers. They play volleyball again in this one. Yeah, dude. What's up now? But he said there was no malicious intent to scare or intimidate. Guys, I pulled my gun out, pointed it at him for a solid 5 seconds and said, I'll shoot you. But there was no malice in that. There was no malicious intent. I wasn't trying to scare or intimidate anyone with my gun pointed at him for 5 solid seconds, telling him I'm going to shoot him for spoiling the good Tommy Cruise jet movie. This is a case where the skylarking and tomfoolery in an employment context has gone awry, Mr. McKaylee told the court. Perfect little lawyer answer to that one. Guys, this is clearly a case where skylarking, Thomas foolery, in an employment context, it just went a little bit haywire, A conviction would definitely see him removed from the police force, Mr. McKaylee said, and his client was remorseful. Probably should be removed from the police force. If this guy's so unhinged that he'd point a gun at someone for spoiling, again, a Tommy Cruise fighter plane movie, I don't think he should be able to wield that in public. This is going to cost him dearly. Probably should. Alison Grayland, for the Director of Public Prosecutions, submitted the court would take a very dim view of the so-called skylarking definition. When have you ever heard someone say skylarking? Skylark, pass the time by playing tricks or practical jokes. Indulge in horseplay. That's what it was. With a gun. The community placed a great deal of trust in armed police officers, she said. The victim was as entitled to that trust as any layperson in the community. In sentencing, Magistrate Michael Mayer noted the power imbalance between the defendant and his more junior colleague. He had regard to several character references which painted Gaynor positively, suggesting there had been an unfortunate lapse of judgment which was not representative of his true character. Magistrate Mayer said a police officer was entitled to carry a firearm, but doing so was a great responsibility. And with great power comes great responsibility. And if you spoil the Jet movie for me, cunt. He placed Gaynor on a community corrections order for 2 years, handed him 100 hours of community service, and recorded a conviction. Earlier this week, New South Wales police said Gaynor remains suspended without pay. Damn. So this other dude is so traumatized by it that he had to leave this job forever. Meanwhile, the other guys they're like, hey, what you did, pretty messed up. Serve your community for 100 hours and that's it. And literally, you're technically still a cop, I guess, suspended without pay. So look, those are your serious ones. A cop who is fully willing to aim a gun at someone over a movie, and a man who stabbed another man, who apparently is known for spoiling the ending of books. So the Antarctica guy, you might have earned that one. You might have earned that stab. This guy though, I think all of these is sort of like a warning, you know, for spoilers of media spoilers. It's just not great things happen to people who spoil, which is, again, I know, hey, the cop one, it's a bit of a gray area, not a gray area. The police officer is also a piece of shit. But, you know, I'm just saying that you got to remember that this is the real world and there are consequences for your actions, you know? And if you're spouting off Avengers End Game spoilers in front of a cinema in Taiwan, then, you know, a bunch of people might beat the shit out of you. But basically, there was a story that went viral and says, by no means has it been confirmed. The only evidence backing up the tale of the vengeful Avengers fans is a photo of a dude like laying down or like sitting down on the ground and he's being like tended to. But supposedly this dude was out the front of Avengers End Game shouting out spoilers, and supposedly a bunch of people kicked the shit out of him. And this went so viral that the directors Anthony Russo and Joseph Russo penned an open letter to fans asking them not to spoil the film for others. And plenty of fans have posted on social media about the lengths that they go to in order to avoid seeing crucial superhero spoilers. And then there was this other story of a Dallas woman who sabotaged a man for 15 years by ruining his favorite TV shows. And she claims his engagement as well after he wronged her friend one night back in college. In a TikTok video titled, "This is Genuinely Unhinged," Linda Solly Hurd recalled the night she was enjoying out with friends at a comedy show when one of her friends mistakenly knocked over a drink onto a man's lap. Hurd said the man was so furious, he spit on her friend, calling the woman a stupid fat bitch. "I'm screaming in this guy's face," Hurd said. "That's assault. You're disgusting. You're trash." And then he calls me an ugly bitch. "We move on with our night. We don't move on with our lives," she says. Apparently, this video got 4.4 million views. She said, certainly not forgiving or forgetting, Hurd tracked down the man's Facebook, where she noticed he was a massive fan of iconic shows like Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. Hurd then created Facebook accounts to spoil episodes on a weekly basis for both shows through direct messages. Quote, "This was back when the shows were airing on TV and you got one a week, so you would do anything to avoid a spoiler. I go search for all the spoilers, I go on Reddit, I get on all the forums, everything." Hurd said the man tried to block every single fake account she made, but she kept creating more and spoiling his television shows for fun. This dude, you know this guy is losing his mind. Who's doing this to me? Leave me alone. Probably drove him off the internet. "I did that for a couple of months, and then I'm over the grudge," Hurd said. She then revealed the man ended up in her political science class, which afforded her another opportunity to continue her scheme. "He's devil's advocate on everything. Every trash opinion you could ever have, he has it. One day he's firing up his PowerPoint to the projector for the class, and I see in his tab on his laptop, right before he fires it up, a little username. Hurd was able to track down his Reddit account. She then spammed him with more spoilers and then gave him a break. So she's like, I tracked this dude down 2 times on the internet. Heard briefly retired from the vengeful fun and didn't bother the man for at least a decade until a mutual Facebook friend announced her engagement to the man. I found out they're engaged when they're pretty close to the wedding, and I was like, I haven't thought about this guy in so long, she says. So I look up his Reddit and see if he's still using it. Heard rush to the man's Reddit account to see what he'd been up to all these years and discovered some sinister things. There are pictures that he's passing off as his fiance. If it was your partner, you'd want to know, she said. Heard said she signed into one of her unused Facebook accounts and messaged the man's Reddit post to his then fiance. So many, you know. Oh, which one of the 97 accounts do I log into to message this woman? Heard said the woman breaks off the engagement after sending her a few of the sinister Reddit posts and is now remarried with children. Last I checked, I saw she's got beautiful children, a thriving business, and seems to have a happy marriage. Some sinister Reddit posts. What does that mean? Pictures he's passing off as his fiance. I don't frequent Reddit, so I don't know, like nerds. Is that what they mean? Is that would be like, because I can't imagine that you'd be like, oh yeah, hey dudes, here's me and my Jeef, and it's like him photoshopped with his arm around and then some other person that he's photoshopped in. That'd be mad weird too. Hey guys, just me kicking it with my girlfriend. That's a Photoshop, dog. And if you had a real fiance, why wouldn't you just be posting actual pictures of it's got to be nudes, right? Or like those like deep fakes where you edit their face onto someone else's body. I don't know. I don't know what a sinister photo is on Reddit, but, you know, spoilers beware. I'm still fully on board with the Antarctica guy getting stabbed, which seems like when you say it out loud and you say all of it together, it sounds like a really extreme opinion to have. But at the same time, he does seem to be known as a serial spoiler. And I feel like at some point, cumulatively, that's got to build up, you know, and it gets unleashed upon you via a knife to the chest. And he's fine, so it's cool. So this made me wonder why, you know, let's understand these people. Why are they out here running around trying to spoil shit for people? I mean, the woman's one, purely justified. That's just a good revenge plot. But there was this journal posted that said all evidence appears to suggest that people detest spoilers and avoid them at all costs. But is the strong avoidance justified? Does knowing the end of a story or the outcome of a sports game really ruin the experience of discovering it on your own? I mean, yes, yes. Surely, right? Like if your big thing is like, you know, some people like to solve puzzles. If you're like, here's the answer, dude. Here's the puzzle answer. A team of psychology researchers tackled this question in a series of 3 experiments. They presented more than 800 participants with short stories of up to 4,200 words. Each experiment tested a different type of literary genre, including ironic twist stories, mysteries, and more evocative literary stories, like a Shyamalanian tale, perhaps. A Shyamalanian tale! I was about to do an actual spoiler to an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but then I refrained because I didn't want someone to, knife me, you know, because, and plus I'm not into that. I'm not a spoiler of things. You know what I mean? I'm a frequent proponent of screaming spoilers, you know, pre-spoiler. There's a spoil-free zone. No M. Night Shyamalanian tales will be ruined here today. You're safe. Within that genre, participants were given different stories to read, some of which were preceded by spoilers and some of which were unspoiled. Afterward, they were asked to rate how much they enjoyed their reading experience. Surprisingly, participants gave high ratings to stories that had been spoiled in advance. Okay, well then, let's do another test on those people. Let's take all of those people, let's put them into another study and say, what the fuck is wrong with these people? In fact, the results suggested that participants generally preferred the stories whose endings had been revealed to them in a spoiler. It seemed that rather than ruining the story, spoilers had made the experience more fun. What the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? How could it possibly be more fun? How could it be more fun? Hey, I already know how this ends. I'm going to have so much more fucking fun than you did. Hey, this movie we're about to see? Yeah, I went to a different movie last night and that overlapped with the ending of this movie, and I quickly ran into Cinema 3 and I caught the last 15 minutes, so I know how this whole fucking M. Night Shyamalanian tale plays out. I know exactly who the devil is in the movie Devil. And I'm going to enjoy it so fucking much more than you, dude. Yeah, enjoy the movie, all right? But just know that I'm going to enjoy it way more than you do. So why would we like spoilers? The empirical research reviewed suggests that people strangely enjoy the effects of spoilers despite actively seeking to avoid them. The researchers speculated that these counterintuitive findings could have different theoretical reasons. Those two reasons are perceptual fluency. A potential reason for liking stories with a known ending is perceptual fluency. After reading a spoiler, the upcoming contents of a story are anticipated and therefore processed more easily. The cognitive burden on the reader is lightened. As a result, different elements of the story are easier to integrate and comprehend. This makes the experience more enjoyable. I'm sorry, but I read that as you're a fuckwit and couldn't figure out what was going on in the story. So now that you've had it ruined for you, your dumb fuck brain can piece it together. It's a negative and strong opinion to take. But what I hold dearly, all right? If you're enjoying it more, you're like, oh, thank God. Oh, guys, I already know what's in the box at the end of 7 before we even get there. Before we even find out who the killer is, before we figure out all the twists and turns and tales and things that are happening, I already know what's in the box. So I feel like I'm going to be able to piece this together a lot more easily now. What the fuck are you saying? And the other is pleasurable tension. An alternative or additional reason for enjoying spoiled stories is the pleasurable tension created by knowing about an upcoming story twist. What, to the people around you? Hey, sitting in the movies with your friends. Hey, David, I know, watch this part. Hey, watch this part. Yeah, I am going to. We're sitting in a cinema looking at a giant screen. Yeah, but watch this part. There's a big twist coming. You're going to love it. My God, hell on earth. Being informed about an otherwise surprising outcome in advance increases a reader's excitement. Oh, I know what's about to happen because I ruined it for myself. What the fuck? It also draws more attention to how the story's characters deal with the foretold challenges. What, because I'm more perceptive to how they're taking things in because I know something before the characters in the movie because I ruined it for me? This doesn't sound fun. I'm just now realizing that if you haven't read Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express, I did actually dish out spoilers. And I did vehemently talk about how much I don't spoil things. And again, I'm just realizing now that I did do a spoiler. So sorry about that one. But the book is very highly regarded. And I think that the story is fucking trash. Sorry. But when I read it, I didn't think it was as great as what people were fucking making it out to be. So the murderer is literally everyone. The murder on the Orient Express was committed by curtain reveal, literally everyone. So fucking stupid, dude. So stupid. Sorry, and then I doubled down on the spoiler. I've lived long enough to become the villain. Spoilers. The evidence against spoilers. So there are plausible theoretical underpinnings for people's love of spoiled stories. Get out, dude. If you love a story to be spoiled before you consume the story, just get out. Just let's not kick it ever. Thank you. However, recent follow-up research suggests that things aren't quite so simple after all. In a similar study from 2016, researchers found the opposite effect of spoilers. This is every study ever, by the way. We found some evidence to say yes, but we also found some evidence to say no. Our conclusion is just the emoji of the guy shrugging. I don't know. That's our conclusion. So in a similar study in 2016, researchers found the opposite effect of spoilers. Participants in their experiment enjoyed spoiled stories significantly less than those where the ending had not been foretold. Yeah, I feel like that's the normal state of being. Do you like a story that you are watching or consuming? Do you want it to be spoiled for you? No? Get in, dude. Yes. Yes to you. You're a rego. How can we explain this contrasting evidence? I already know. The shrugging emoji. The gif of Elmo doing a shrug. The researchers attributed this to the use of different stories and different kinds of spoilers in their follow-up study. The more recent investigation used shorter spoilers that focused on the very ending of the story. In the earlier study, on the other hand, spoilers conveyed more nuanced information, such as the story's overall theme. The way a spoiler is presented seems to matter greatly for people's subsequent experience. Hey, dude, that book you're about to read? Fucking sci-fi, dude. What? How was I supposed to know that? It's only called Aliens. David listening to this fuming because I don't know the difference between like theme and genre. Additionally, the second study suggested the importance of individual differences. It seemed that participants with a higher need for cognition, i.e. those who enjoy thinking and puzzling more than the average person, were particularly frustrated by spoilers revealing the ending of the story in advance. That's exactly what I said before when I said dumb fucks like it to be revealed early so they can figure out what the fuck is going on. And it proven. Fact proven. That wasn't just me being mean. That's science. This finding makes intuitive sense. Thank you. I'm like validated. I'm like personally validated by these findings. Those people who like to think harder when reading stories or watching TV shows don't like the challenge to be taken away by a spoiler. I feel like that's got to be most people though. You know? Do people like spoilers? So now we're wrapping it up. You know, what are the findings of this? We found some people yes, some people no. But do people like spoilers? Even though the experimental findings aren't clear-cut, it appears that giving away the ending of a story, competition, or sports game might not be as detrimental to enjoyment as previously believed. I'm fuming. In some cases, being able to predict what's going to happen definitely seems to improve the experience. This is particularly true for those of us who prefer not to puzzle too hard when following a story. Red, dumb fucks. Sorry. Further supporting this notion is evidence that people enjoy rewatching their favorite TV shows and films many times. Personally, I love revisiting videos of yoga classes. The more familiar I am with a particular yoga sequence, the easier it is for me to let go. Okay. I don't think that that's the same thing though. Because you're not spoiling the end of the yoga class. Oh, does she end with namaste? She does. Oh, she does. Oh, thank God. Thank God. I was so worried that we weren't going to do downward dog at the end and then finish with namaste, but I jumped to the end of that video and I spoiled the ending of the yoga class. I don't think that's comparable. Decreasing the cognitive challenge that comes from paying attention to the teacher's cues helps me to de-stress and enjoy the movement even more. Again, I don't know if those are comparable. Quote, sometimes, even if you know how something's going to end, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy the ride. Well, I'll tell you, if we're watching a TV show or movie or we're reading a book and you tell me the ending, you've fully fucking spoiled the ride for me. But, spoiler alert, that's the end of this one. So if you jumped to whenever this timestamp was, now you know when it ended, and now you can go back and feel better about how the show's going to go. I don't know how that works. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Again, I appreciate you so much giving me your precious, precious time. It really does mean a lot to me. Man, how do you feel about the spoilers? Do you... Okay. I can't... What am I now at the very end going to say? Hey, let me know how you prefer to watch something. Do you like spoilers or do you not like spoilers? After this whole time, I've been like, do you like spoilers? Dumb fuck, dumb fuck, dumb fuck. Hey, no judgment. No judgment if you do like a spoiler, okay? If it helps you process it or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm fully open and willing to be wrong. Maybe it's a preference thing. I'll say my personal preference is I prefer to not have the ending or any part of it spoiled for me. I don't even watch too much of trailers. You know what I mean? If there's like a movie or something or a TV show that I want to see, I'll put the trailer on and then I'll get to the point where as soon as I know, like, yes, I want to watch this, then I'll turn it off because I'm like, I don't need to see anymore. They put too much in trailers anyway. So I personally don't like things ruined for me. How do you like your media presented? Again, no judgment. No judgment. All right? Send your responses to oneweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you've got any weird but wonderful news articles, snippets, stories, findings, or if you just want to have a bloody chat, oneweirdpodcast@gmail.com. You want to keep up to date with me? You can find me at mypixelpersona on Instagram and TikTok, or at One Weird Podcast on Instagram and TikTok for the show. Subscribe to the YouTube. Get yourself the video version each week. youtube.com/@weirdbutwonderful. Chuck a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. It helps people like you find the show, grow this thing that we're doing. And spoiler alert, I'll fucking see you next time.